people matter, and it does make a difference the ways that we show up. And our names may not be written in anybody's history books, but I'm telling you, what makes our world what makes our world shift and transform for the better is people. They make a difference. So, anyway, we started with the garden, and I'm gonna give this here 2017, 2018. I just was like bit by bit. All of this whole area was covered in what they call the trees of hell. They really are. They're very invasive species. I eventually want to get those dug up. But all of those back there, and I just started transplanting those trees I was telling John in Asia. Those bushes back there, I transplanted from somebody else who wants to get rid of it. I love taking what people don't want. One, because it's economical. It's in my budget. I planted those, and I can't tell you how excited I am to see them blooming, and that means they feel at home. So those trees, those bushes back there that look dead, back there I want to build a tree house for the children. I bought one of the mountain climbing things that they would climb up, but there's lead back there. I had it tested, so I need to have it mulched and remediated. But this back area, when you all come in, there's so many native plants that are growing, and bit by bit, we built our youth mentors. Last year, we were teaching children garden. Teaching children, not just teaching them gardening, but teaching them how to teach gardening. Because information is just much more attainable when you are in authority and you're empowered to have to communicate to others. So we find what children love, whether it be butterflies, whether it be a plant. We don't necessarily, I do have a particular program that allows for them to plant, but I also pay attention to the people as they walk into the space, because I think people will tell you what they like just by what they're attracted to. And so we try to create and customize learning that is about what naturally people are drawn to, that affinity that's there. And so I had friends, so we're building an artist space. Any sculptors in the house, please come back. This geodesic dome is about that. I was working with the We Will Chicago initiative, and we had built a geodesic dome. And so they planted it here in the garden. And eventually I'm going to cover it. We're going to have another artist group come in who are going to help us build the rest of the stage out with the storage, which is what we need for a lot of our tools. And so we're just learning how to be able to live in nature, listen to the plants, like the dandelion roots, which have milk that come out that can be used for antiseptic purposes. I'll get one out before we go. So that those that don't know, we can build a relationship that is this plant. I can't believe it's growing now, but this was dead. You see it. It took 3 years though. This one right here, I forgot the name of this bush. I transplanted it over, and now it's yes. Yo, y'all don't even know. Like this gives me life. So I'm gonna let Asia or John continue to speak, and thank you all so much for being present here in this space.
Well, thank you, Paul Ramsey. Actually, before we continue a little more here, I was telling Pearl that we had Nature Conservancy staff around the country, perhaps beyond, who are here for a conference, and I just wondered if folks would be willing to go around and introduce yourselves. Again, I'm John Legg with TNC in Illinois, our Chicago conservation program. So it doesn't have to go in a circle. People can raise their hands whenever.
Johnny Bennigan, Nature Conservancy of Florida Monroe, working with the Global Diversity Equity and Community team, but part of our very excited to Conservancy, so I'm also a part of the League of the Ways of Consent. 9 now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
9.
y'all can hear that? I couldn't hear it.
Right out of Dover,
We did a show out in Dover, in Delaware, and it was very interesting being there, because there's a lot of credit card companies out there.
You're
But-
probably in Wilmington.
No, they
Wilmington,
did not
yeah, I
do
was in
that.
Wilmington. We were at the Delaware Theater.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like your name, I recognize your name.
Wow. Okay. Wow. They welcome. My name is Marjorie. Well, how do you say that in how do you
So everybody thinks.
The bus driver
I mean
stopped the motor. Is the motor interfering with the sound?
Yeah.
Oh, Zambia! Oh. No, but oh, there's a performing arts troupe by there. Really? 72?
Yes. Yeah, the problem is they don't pass the record.
I'm Christina Valdivia. I'm with the Young and Emerging Professional Employee Resource Group as part of the I'm Sarah Pikeman. I'm also with the Young and Emerging Professional ERG, and I'm based out of I work with service for a long time, and they are, very modest donors. And I thank them. We do a lot of stewardship work to make so that they realize how important they are. I'm Tessa. I am also on our Young Emerging Professional Steering Committee, and I work on our Global Ocean Protection Team. I'm with Denver, Colorado.
We don't even have like Alabama.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Abby Barber. I'm on the Global Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion team, and I help the employee resource groups with communications. And I'm excited to be here and leading them on this journey today. And I'm based out of Alexandria, Virginia. Yeah. Lucia?
Hi, I'm Lucia Pham. I am Finance Lead Foundation, the TNC. I am based in Leesburg, Northern Virginia, and I'm here to, with my ERG, be ADAPT, so for Asian and Pacific Islander colleagues.
Where are
yes,
you from?
And I'm originally, I was born in Vietnam, and I grew up in Canada, the French-speaking part, and I live in the U.S. now. I'm Elaine. I am a Senior Branch Associate at CDC, and I am from Brazil. So thank you for hosting us here.
I'm Beth. I am from Toronto, Canada, and I am with the Nature Conservancy Canada program, and I'm lucky to be here, and I'm glad I've chosen to come here. I'm with the Women in Nature ERG, so thank you for having us.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't know.
I see our gear. TNC hat you're hiding.
Are you skipping it to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey everybody, my name is Joel Sawala. I'm a Director of Community Engagement here in Chicago, the Illinois office. Or I'm sorry, Illinois, Chicago office. I'm not normally this tall. But this is actually my first time here. I've been with TNC for about 2 months now, so I heard a lot about this. I'm becoming more familiar with the partnership, and I think a lot of what Pearl was saying really resonates, right? Because it's difficult to capture the impact of the community engagement work. So to see it put so eloquently is always nice. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Nice meeting you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Nice meeting you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Yeah, thank you for coming.
Hi, my name is Edward. I'm the Community Stewardship Program Manager here in Chicago team, and I'm also your lunch fetcher today. So you'll meet. I'll leave at some point early here, and you'll meet me again at your second location at Big Marsh, where we'll talk a bit more about like the work that I do with all the folks here in Chicago. But yeah, just happy to have you guys all here with us and learning more about what you guys all do and connecting. Yeah, likewise.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Juliet Tyson. I'm the mission coordinator with Imani Village. We've been in partnership with Nature Conservancy for, I don't know, quite a few years. What's 8 or 19 years, maybe? 6?
Since about 2017.
Okay, 2017. So I make the connection. Asia in the Imani Green Health Advocate program is under Imani Village. So I have the luxury of working with Asia and seeing her develop through, this is her second year in her position. So that has been very interesting. I've seen her from the beginning to now, and she's really blossoming in a leader. And I know there are going to be great things for her to do in the future. So just remember the little people.
Hi, I'm Albert Granados. I am the Director of Finance and Operations for the state of New Mexico. I'm also on the steering committee for Nature's Pride, the LGBTQ plus ERG, and I'm very privileged to be here with all of you. So thank you. Likewise.
Hi everyone, my name is Morgan Foster. I work for the Impact Finance and Markets Division. My coworker Tina's over there also. And I live in Washington, D.C. and work out of the World Office in Arlington, Virginia. And I am with the League of Employees of African Descent, ERG. So it's nice to meet you all. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
If you want to take a minute to
I can. Sorry, I'm eating my breakfast. All right, I'm Taz, he, him pronouns. I'm an environmental justice organizer with Soul. Nice meeting you all. I'm from out here, and my relation to this garden is I'm a participant in the vision and the extra set of hands. You know, whatever it takes to beautify this, to give us a space. Just because I believe that's what we need. If we look at everything through the lens of opportunity, at the end of the day, we want something. We want things. We want to be able to pursue what we want to pursue, and all we need is the space to do it. And so I want to see this through, just to, you know, have folks like me. I write poetry, to, you know, have a space to do that. So thanks everybody for being here. Looking forward to seeing these faces again. So let's show.
Oh, my mom. Can you introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi. Hi, everybody. As you can see, I'm multitasking.
Give me that.
I don't even know if
That's
I
your
can.
husband, Mr. Sharon.
Yeah, I'm here in Chicago via New Orleans, so I'm from the southern part of the country. And one of the things that fascinated me about Chicago was that I could live in 4 seasons. Because in New Orleans, everything blooms year-round. I could never experience what really winter was, spring or summer or fall, because it was always blooming. And one of the things that terrified me was my first winter, and I was working, and all the leaves were going down, and I said, oh God, the trees are dying. And I was on the bus and I got hysterical. I said, you people in Chicago are ridiculous. You all don't care about the trees. I don't understand. The trees are dying and you don't care, you know what's gonna happen if the trees die? What's gonna happen? And the lady said, that's okay. And I said, what you mean it's okay? It's not okay. And the man said, dormant, lady, dormant. It's dormant. And I heard that word in the textbook, but just to read a textbook, I never experienced it. And so the lady said, they're gonna come back in the spring, honey. And all of a sudden the word dormant from a biology class, spring hit.
this is what they talk about. So here I am, never intending to have be in a space like this, but my daughter has really put a love and just revived, and it just has done so much for the community. And to see grandmothers and their children coming into the garden, and the little ones down on their knees in the dirt, and they're laughing and planting. I just never thought of anything like that. I'm a community organizer, and I just thought about the park being whatever it is, you know, swings and playing, but a garden, never in light years. And I'm so honored to have you all here in our community to see the hearts of the people in my community, because this is really who we are. Thank you. God bless you.
I don't really want to follow that, but I guess I have to. So I'm gonna, in a second, I guess just to describe a little bit more about the journey we're on here. Pearl introduced the garden, and I think next we're going to go and hear from our local partner, Imani Village, represented by Asia Gilbert. And after Asia talks, I'll talk a little bit more about Nature Conservancy's role, why we're here, and how that fits into some of our goals and some of those kinds of things. Yeah, so that's the plan.
First, I want to say, before they do that, because I know everybody's cold, so I'm just going to have you all stand to your feet and we'll do some little movement.
Okay, right on.
So it's going to really help, and then you'll be able to really hear Asia without having to worry about your general health. Okay, and so we're just going to take some deep breaths, 5 deep breaths. So you put your hand on your diaphragm, whichever's dominant, your right or left hand, and you're going to breathe in, and your diaphragm is going to inflate like a balloon, and then you're going to inflate your stomach, and then exhale through the cheeks. So we'll do 5 of those, and just pace yourself. Get comfortable in your shoulders, your body when we hold that breath. Get on your tippy toes if you can. The goal is to not over. And then you're going to let your hands down slowly. Breathe in and lift your hands up to the sky on your tippy toes if you can. Exhale, exhale to the teeth, hands down. You'll take your right hand up, stretch it up. You're going to reach over, lean your body over to your left. And exhale, and then inhale up. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, left hand up. Exhale, stretch over to your right. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hand down. Okay, then we're going to
lot of different goals, and as we continue to grow, we gain more and more goals and more projects that we are hoping to accomplish. And Pearl's Community Garden has been a really great part of that program since it started. Pearl and Juliet met a long time ago. I'm not sure how long ago.
It's been a minute. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And essentially, part of our program is we plant trees on private property. And if you are not from Chicago, sometimes that can be a little bit difficult. There's a lot of myths around trees. There's also just a lot of the trees on the streets are often not cared for the way that they should be, and so they can damage property, cars. A lot of people just tend to see trees as more of a nuisance. And so sometimes when we're trying to plant trees on private property, not a lot of people want them. And thankfully, Pearl has always graciously taken our trees, and we've always been able to work with her and give her fruit trees that can help sustain the neighborhood. And the first time I entered this garden, it was 2021, probably September or October, and I just knew I wanted to keep coming back. It was beautiful. You've been around Pearl now, you can feel her warmth and her energy and just the draw that this space has. And so I've advocated every time I can for people to come here. When John asked if we could have, some sort of meeting with Imani Village and possibly going to Imani Village, I said, well, what if we go to the garden? We don't have to go inside an office. It's a lovely office, but it's not as beautiful as this garden. And I think that when you come here, you feel very warm and you feel very connected to one another. And I always want to advocate for that. And so part of our projects of planting trees on private property has led to Imani Village planting 9 trees here over the past 5 years. We planted 3 last year, 3 persimmon trees, one of which is struggling, but by Pearl's magic, I think she can bring it back to life, honestly. We also planted some service berries, so there's one in the corner over there, and then there's that one. These trees along the back are pawpaw trees. There's a peach tree, there's a plum tree, just a lot of different fruit trees that have been planted here by our advocates. And I really love being able to come here because it encourages our advocates to also engage with community members. So whenever I tell Pearl, hey, we have some trees that we can plant here, Pearl's excited. She wants us to come and plant. It's the best day ever. And she always invites community members to come out. And so my advocates get to teach people how to plant trees who maybe don't know how to plant trees. And, they work all summer learning how to identify trees and how to plant trees and how to care for trees. And I get to really see them in action in a community space where they are the first people that you get to really interact with if you have never interacted with trees. Is so fun when it's young people who are excited. So last year when we planted those persimmon trees, there was about 10 people that Pearl graciously invited to come out and help, and it was a party. We had food, we had music, we were painting, there were children running around, and we taught people, about how to plant a tree properly. We taught them about a persimmon tree and why we needed to plant more than one, because persimmon trees have male and female trees, and so you need one to pollinate the other. So we came here and we brought as many persimmons as we could, hoping that one of them would be a female and one would be a male. And hopefully in the next 5 years, Pearl will get some persimmons and people can eat them. And I hope you guys can come back and eat persimmons. Our service berries, which we just planted only 2 years ago, are already fruiting after only a year, which means that Pearl is a magician because it usually takes about 3 years for trees to start fruiting. I just think that the Imani Green Health Advocates, it's a job training program, but I think it's more about how we engage with our community and how we talk to one another. And so we spend a lot of time talking to people who maybe aren't the happiest about trees, but I think that can kind of discourage you, when you're spending all day and people are just kind of saying, oh, I hate trees, they destroyed my pipes, they fell on my car. It can become very discouraging, but I never give up. I encourage my interns to never give up. Pearl never gives up, and we just continue to create a space where people feel safe, a space where people can learn to love their trees and understand that their trees are not malicious. I think that sometimes people can kind of personify trees as being malicious, and they're not. They're beautiful, and they just want to live the same way we all do. And I feel very grateful that I've got to do this job for the past 2 years, and we will have another batch of interns coming in this summer. So, like I said, I want you all to come back to Chicago. I'm sorry it's cold. It's always cold in May. Come back in like 2 weeks and it'll be like 80 degrees. But yeah, if you ever come back, I want this garden to be the space that you really remember of your visit to Chicago, because I think it really encapsulates so much about what it means to be a community member and what it means to care for one another and to care for your environment. And I just feel very thankful that I have gotten to do this job. And Juliet, I'll never forget you. You're the best boss ever, just so you know. I say it all the time. So yeah, thank you all. Anything else?
We talked about two other things. One would be resilience.
Oh yes, thank you.
And the tree health.
Yes. Thank you, John. So another aspect, I actually really did want to bring this up, is we have our Treesilience, which is piloted within Chicago, St. Louis, and Orlando, which you guys, none of you are from there, any of those cities, so you might not know about it, but we are expanding Treesilience to a couple of other cities, but the goal of Treesilience is
At least they waited. At least they waited.
The goal of Treesilience is tree replacement and tree maintenance, and we focus on environmental equity communities, so communities that maybe have not been cared for, communities where their tree canopy is either low or unhealthy, and it's always on private property. So part of our program is we talk to homeowners who possibly have a dead or dying tree on their property, or even just a tree that just hasn't been properly pruned because it's extremely expensive to prune trees. And we give them that opportunity to give either their tree that needs to be pruned a new life and have it pruned for free, or unfortunately trees die, we'll take it out for free as well. And I think that that really creates such a bond with people, because when you say, hey, I'm gonna give you this service that is upwards of $3,000 completely for free, and all you have to do is let us plant a tree on your property, people are so thankful. They are so happy. And so Pearl, after years and years and years of letting us plant trees here every single year and never asking for anything in return, she said she had a mulberry tree that had started to die. It's that very tall stump over there. And Pearl said, I want this tree taken out sometime. And I was like, let us take it out for you. I was like, we'll take it out for you. You know, we've been planting trees here forever. If we can, like, why not? And so last year we had some funds left over and they came, and Pearl wants to, as always, nothing goes wasted here, so she's going to utilize that stump. Usually when we take a tree out on someone else's property, we get rid of the stump because no one wants a stump. But Pearl wanted to utilize that as like a hammocking space.
Yeah, use a hammock back there.
But so on other people's property, we'll come and we'll take their tree out for free, and we'll get the stump grinded for free. And then we let them pick what tree they want in replacement. A lot of people really love the pretty flowering ones. So like we'll plant some magnolias, some red buds, just a lot of trees that I feel like make people feel more content to be in their yard and feel a little bit happier that they have a tree, whereas sometimes when you have a dead or dying tree, it creates so much fear and tension, and you just kind of live with that forever. You know, you just have this ominous thing that you're like, it's gonna fall in my house one day, I know it. And I think that we're able to take that fear away and alleviate it, and then replace it with something really beautiful and good. And honestly, they're usually just like, last year it was me and 3 girls, or 2 girls, one of which she was very small, and every time we would come to plant the tree, they were like, just you two? And I was like, yeah, just us? And they're like, do you have a machine? And I was like, my arms are the machine, buddy. I am buff. And so we get to like joke with our community members, and we get to talk to them, and we talk to them about how to care for their tree. And this upcoming month, Joelle and I will be going back out and checking on all of our trees and mulching them, which, by the way, Pearl will be coming here soon to give you some mulch. And so we spend a lot of time kind of engaging with our community members and making trees feel safe and making trees feel like something you want to have. And it's really the goal of Treesilience is we never want to take away from our canopy. In St. Louis, whenever they take one tree out, they put 2 in. I think we are also at that.
We didn't set that goal, but we've kind of done it.
Yeah, it's not intentional, but essentially every time we take a tree out, we have planted 2 in its place, either directly on that person's property, or sometimes, some people are elderly and they can't handle watering a tree once a week. Like, that's a lot. And so we'll plant it maybe on like their grandchild's property or on their neighbor's property. And honestly, as long as a tree is getting cared for, we're happy. And then the other project that we have is tree health monitoring, which is where we kind of learn a lot of how to identify a tree and identify whether a tree is dead or not. And so there is an app called Healthy Trees, Healthy Cities, which was created by the Nature Conservancy. We'll look at, is that our tree monitoring?
Yes. Do you want to, I'm going to pass these.
Yeah. So we have neighborhoods that we go to, and we focus on neighborhoods, like I said, that have tree health inequities, that are historically low canopy or unhealthy canopy. And we are just surveying and collecting data on how healthy are Chicago's street trees, specifically in the South Side, which has been historically forgotten. There's a lot of history in Chicago, which I could talk about for hours, and I would love to, but we don't have hours, so I won't. But so we just do visual assessments of the tree. What is the fine twig dieback, which is how much of the outside of the tree is losing leaves, how much of the leaves have like holes in them, so defoliation, how discolored are the tree leaves. There's a couple other ones. I haven't trained on the app in a couple months. But so we just do visual assessments and we collect the data, and then the app itself will tell you how stressed that tree is. It kind of creates a number of 0 to 9 to tell you, like, based on the information you've given us, this tree is not stressed or is stressed. And that's just like really great data to collect, because now we're seeing like, okay, maybe this block has a lot of trees, but all of them are extremely stressed or dying, or sometimes log a lot of dead trees. And so now it's like, okay, well, that is an inequity, because if you go to a neighborhood with higher property taxes, they'll have a lot of trees, and all of those trees are beautiful and cared for by the city. And so we're really trying to address that inequity, and that kind of stuff. You have to collect data for it. You have to prove that it's happening. And so we are one of the forefronts of that data collection. And also, I get to train people on how to identify and talk about trees. And so we spend a lot of time walking outside in the summer. I love it. I don't know if my interns love it as much, but I love it, especially as you continue to get older. You just need to find a reason to get outside and walk around. So I really am hoping I'm instilling that in them as well. Like, hey, as you guys get older, you're going to want to go outside. Listen, these office jobs are going to really get you down. You should be happy that you can walk. And so, we spend a lot of time just talking to community members as well, because sometimes we'll be touching a tree, taking the DBH of a tree, and someone's like, what are you doing? Are you ticketing my car? And we're like, no, we're looking at your tree outside your house. Would you like to talk about your tree? And so that's also a really fun way to engage community members as well, and get our name out there and talk more about why we are doing what we're doing. And a lot of the time, people in our neighborhood, even if they are scared of the tree falling down or had problems with the tree, they just want to be heard. Sometimes we'll talk to someone for like 10 minutes. Just stop what we're doing through the day and talk to someone for 10 whole minutes, because they just want to talk about their trees and how long they've lived in the neighborhood and how they've seen the neighborhood change. And it's a really great way to engage people. And so I feel very thankful that I get to do this as a job and I get paid money for it. Don't stop giving me money for it though. I also feel very thankful that I can continue to engage the community with like Pearl and other people like Pearl who want to make their community better and who want to plant trees and want to create green spaces because they know how important it is. And so that's what we are doing. We are at the forefront of that. And we're starting young. We're starting with 18-year-olds out of high school, radicalizing them to love trees and teach everyone else to love trees as well. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Asia. Yeah, I'm just going to talk briefly about TNC's role and how this kind of fits in for us here. And I should say, by the way, when folks were introducing themselves, I should mention as well, I'm glad to be thankful for the ERGs, a member of Nature's Pride and of the Evergreen Group. So, because I've been here a long time. I have my chair. Anyway, the Chicago Area Conservation Program for TNC, sorry, Pearl, I'm whacking you with the cord there. The Chicago Area Program began kind of in its current form in 2015, I think. And part of the way that TNC looks at how we work in Chicago and some of our nearby suburban communities as well is thinking about how we can best collaborate with local communities to help communities address the challenges, especially around climate adaptation and access to nature, and how we can help them reach the goals that they've identified that TNC has some skill sets to help with. And so our partnership with Imani Village really began because Imani's director, Patricia Eggleston, who wasn't able to be here today, goes to the same church as one of our former colleagues, and as the program was getting going, we made a connection and learned about their interest at this site that's not very far from here. Juliet, how far is Imani Village? Like a mile away from here? Less than a mile, yeah, kind of off that way. But it's a program, a ministry, I think you could say, of one of the larger churches in Chicago, Trinity United Church of Christ. And it was the church of the Obamas, so it has a significant history beyond the Obamas, but a significant place in Chicago. But the Imani Village goal has included many aspects of bringing nature and health and connecting the two to communities in this part of Chicago. And we began talking about the opportunity to support that. And that was developed through this Imani Green Health Advocates program. And so for us, the opportunity to help address some of the inequities around the tree canopy in Chicago is very relevant to Nature Conservancy and our 2030 goals. If you're thinking about, for those who aren't TNC folks here, we have a set of goals that we're working on towards the year 2030, and some of that includes helping people to adapt to climate change. As Asia talked about, there are huge inequities around the tree canopy across the city of Chicago. This neighborhood, compared to some of the stretches that Asia and her team have worked on, doesn't have too bad of a tree canopy. It could be a lot better. But compared to many neighborhoods that are wealthier and have more pull in the city of Chicago, it's not very big canopy, and that is reflected as well and connected in some aspects of community health as well, and other kinds of things. And so part of our goals are helping to get more trees through, but not just trees. Asia, I love how you speak about the connections with community and helping people to connect with trees, and I think that's part of the bigger picture. So one of the aspirations we have with the program, Asia mentioned the Treesilience program that TNC has piloted in Chicago, St. Louis, Orlando, and if folks have heard of the Inflation Reduction Act, that's been in the U.S. An opportunity to get a lot of new funds, among other things, for urban and community forestry. And so we're working right now at programs across the country to expand Treesilience and bring additional funds. It could be as much as $50 million, hopefully. We'll see. We have a proposal that's going to be due at the end of June that Rachel Holmes is leading us through to expand Treesilience to cities in a number of places across the U.S., as well as to continue supporting the work here. So that's a real opportunity, I think, to leverage, for TNC, our collaboration with Imani Village allowed us to pilot that program that is now, cities, TNC programs in about a dozen other cities around the U.S. are interested in expanding to that, and through some of these federal resources, we have an opportunity to really leverage what Asia and Juliet and other folks here are doing to apply some of this expanded federal money to cities across the U.S. around tree equity. So, I don't know. I think I've talked enough. That's just kind of some of the context here. But again, in terms of our 2030 goals, we are really looking at how we can maximize the number of people who are benefiting from natural solutions to climate change. And this afternoon, we'll be talking a little bit more about how some of our work with Chicago Parks impacts some of those as well. And you'll hear more from Joel and Edward about that. I don't know, Joel, do you want to add anything about the work here?
Yeah, I would say the only thing that I would add is, so the place that we're going to go to next, the Park District, is actually where I used to work as of 2 months ago, right? And I really enjoyed the work I was doing there, and I did a lot of good work, but I think what was very obvious to me when I came over to TNC and learned about the Imani program was that when I was at the Park District, although they do a lot of great things, it was all kind of in our home, right? Like we were asking people to come to us, to participate with us, which is great. But to see the interaction and the connection with people happening literally in their backyard was that bridging of the gap for me with the Imani program. So again, I'm still becoming more and more familiar with it, but that one was one of the more obvious ones. And then secondly, just on a personal level, I got into this field, but it wasn't a straight line. It was very much a kind of, zigzag and bumping into things and turning things and then turning back around. So to hear about kind of that early career exposure, especially in Chicago, was also something that really attracted me to the program. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. And Juliet, do you want to say anything else about Imani Village, or do you feel like we covered it? Okay. All right. Well, we have a few more minutes here, so 2 things. I was going to invite Pearl back to give us a little orientation to the garden, give you all a few minutes to explore. When the bus driver comes back, and they didn't actually get the time to come back from this, so I hope someone else told them. But one thing I will ask is when we're ready to get back on the bus, we should be that if folks can help us out, because Earl's going to rearrange the benches and chairs here, but we'd like to put stuff back and slowly you guys to explore.
Yeah, and when you do explore, I would love, and again, thank you, Juliet, for bringing. She started with the planting and bringing young people over, and they started with the
So you
pawpaw
have to
trees,
follow
which are here.
Pearl if she
All of
goes
these are
around.
fruit-bearing trees.
Or even
The
go
pawpaw
over,
trees are
like
here
over there.
because the goal was to create a performing arts center. So, but this was the stage originally. But we're going to build another stage out there, and this is going to be enclosed. As you walk throughout the garden, just give love and life to each one of these trees. Just do that. Okay, Deborah, I love Deborah. I just love her. So, Angel, I call her Angel. She's also a resident right here. They have a beautiful space in the back, and it's just always great when the garden is actually people from the community. It just makes all the difference when people feel invested in the land, and so she's been a part of that. Each one of these trees, if you walk through the garden, just give them life. We planted a little grapevine back there. One of our neighbors, Lolita, she brought that tree. It's small. It's by those 2 black buckets. But because you all are connected, you know you got to raise your hand, Debbie. Now hold on. What we want to do is make sure that you all, since you're connected anyway, and this is a part of your mission, and we understand the power of that exchange, vibrationally and oxygen, and what happens when plant life feels loved. So just give some of that love before you leave this space. These 2 serviceberry trees were also planted by the Imani Village, Juliet Tyson and Asia. They brought the people in. That's a serviceberry. Those serviceberries are amazing fruit. The pawpaw trees, again, these are threes back here. Our persimmon trees, this baby right here, make sure I give a lot of love to this one right here. And so it's not fruiting yet, but I know it wants to. All the potential is there. And that persimmon tree is fruiting right there. Then another one is sort of adjacent to it right here. Those are persimmon trees. And you can look at the leaves and you can kind of see which trees are family. In that regard, this is a peach tree. It has been bringing forth fruit. This is its 3rd year here. It was planted by a friend of my mechanics whose father passed away and loved planting peach trees. And so the family that planted it, their mother, their matriarch, passed away. So they planted it in memory of her. And so that's really, really amazing. So this tree is an American plum tree. Right there, the one that's bringing all these leaves. So give some love. That's another fruit tree there. Even our stump back there, because people will be in the space. It was a maple tree. Interesting thing, we foraged mulberries this year. And from that tree there. And so the children learned how to take the mulberries, we washed and cleaned and made jam out of it. So it's really, really learning how to be able to forage within the community, the medicinal plants as well as the fruit trees that are already present, and how to be able to live with that awareness that food is always present, that lack is just a state of mind, that there's abundance always around us. So just give some love, again, Imani Village with the Nature Conservancy. They are in partnership with helping to bring life, which the greatest garden is people. And so our relationship with the land, it ultimately creates that abundance. So that one, that's a serviceberry. These are the 3 pawpaws. Thank you, son. Appreciate that. Peach tree here, a persimmon tree right there. 1, 2, 3 persimmon trees. There's a plum tree that's right there. The grape that'll be growing, just planted it this year. It'll be growing back there. And some of these, all that's in the boxes now are just the plants and the vegetables that have just come up. We haven't planted any seeds this year. So you'll see some, the green onions are pretty abundant. They're pretty resilient and hardy. The kale as well. They come back really strong. Oregano, that's our herb box where it says love I am, but I am love. So however you want to read that, you put it in wrong. But the sign there, that'll be our herb box. Taz is filling our, I had purchased some soil there because I found out the soil that was coming from the Water Reclamation Center had PFA 99s in it. And that's what they call forever chemicals. And so we're not oblivious nor naive to a sort of constant, it feels like a war always with these systemic policies, environmental injustices that always are like, oops. It's like, stop saying oops, we know you did it on purpose. But we still thrive in the midst of that. So we find ways to be able to live a life that is filled with abundance and joy, even in the midst of those outer and exterior markers that are always working against the wellness of humanity. And so we find ways through each other to how do we able to take stuff that was thrown away, like the garden that has lead back there, and we're going to remediate the soil, and it's going to be abundant, and the people are going to live long, healthy lives. And I speak that. So speak that to the trees, speak it to the land as you walk throughout the garden. Enjoy this space, make your mark, know that it is felt, and people for years to come, long after we're gone, will still be able to feel your imprint in the earth. Thank you all for being here, and I'm so grateful for your presence.
I want to thank you all because we were able to enjoy this garden. I done had greens, I done had tomatoes, I done had onions,
Cucumbers?
Yeah, I didn't get too many
Oh, you
cucumbers,
okay?
but I did enjoy the, I guess like the mini tomatoes. What do you call those?
Cherry
tomatoes. Yes, those are my favorites, and especially the green ones. So I just want to thank you all. Because of you all, I was able to feed my family. That's right. Keep going.
Yo, my heart is full. I feel like we could go the whole garden season just with that abundance. Asia, John?
I was just going to ask, does anyone have any questions for Pearl or Asia before we just kind of disperse a little bit?
I like the artwork on the tree.
Yo, thank you. We're still working on that. We're getting some real artists in here. I just want this space to be filled with color. Like, it's going to be amazing the next time you come back.
Don't forget about that partnership you have in Missouri, the artists that come out here. They're
Oh
not
yeah,
all-
from
they're not all
Wisconsin.
Chicago.
Angie and them, they're the ones that we're in Wisconsin. They my friend Angie Ozaki Talent, and there's the bus. She painted her son came. They painted the benches with us, and yeah, they painted the trees and different stuff like that. Any other questions before y'all buses here? Look at the timing. And so, but please send some love. No, thank you.
Like caterpillars that becomes a butterfly, you too were born to fly.
Oh, can I take a picture with everybody on the stage? Yeah. I would like everybody here to take a picture finally before we go.
The rings inside my mind to set me free. I know I've got things on more than my eyes can see. And I know I rule my destiny.
Asia, Juliet, Abby, Joelle, Christine.
Group picture.
Come on in.
Oh, you want to take a picture?
Yeah.
Okay, hon.
I didn't know you were over there.
So can I.
Take one. Okay, they turned out pretty good. All right. Oh, yeah! All right, Sharon, can you take it with this one? This
Okay.
one. And I want to get you in that one. So take me.
Some days I feel like the world is on my shoulder and I just can't go on.
This is our media division. We got a media division.
Check my place. And there's a song that I play and I'm always I feel like the greatest.
Alright, can I be in the picture?
Are you gonna do it, y'all? Oh, wow.
Alright. 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Yeah! Give some love to the class and thank you all for coming. Mr. Betts, he's another neighbor that comes to the garden and mows the grass. I appreciate it. I hope you all come next year. Know that you're always welcome.
Your words were very eloquent. Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I'm a former artist. If you want to show. I started becoming an artist. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I get. I don't know. I guess I just speak from the heart. And I'm grateful that it comes out.
Oh yeah, so
Yes! Like,
Empower one another.
yes, because that's all we got to do.
Yeah, because everyone's
absolutely. Yeah. Don't.
Tina, they go and the top.
Okay. I'm not even back again.
Okay.
Let me take some.
What?
Thank you for taking the photo.
Oh, yeah. That's what we do. We do have a what's up, Tom?
We do have a media and we'll
Oh, you're doing the media? Oh, good. I can't wait to see the media.
Oh, hey.
What do you think? Yeah. That's the only thing I'm like.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for hosting us.
Sure. All right, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us. No, this is so fun.
So yeah, if you know any artists, definitely let us know. Yeah, we need. You saw the little bit of art we did over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's so nice. It's so fun, the little personal touches. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. It's such a cool space. It is.
Thank you.
Or when I,
Okay, I'll give you my phone number,
Okay.
right? That's the easiest, and then I'll.
and I, yes, okay.
Longer than you want. Yeah, but it's gonna take place.
Yeah. Patience leads to perseverance.
They had something bigger, and I cut them over. That's just squash.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Yeah. I seen him walk. He been out walking lately. The other day I didn't see him with his dog. What, you left him at home?
Who? What?
puppy.
The dog? Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
the
right,
puppy.
right. Yeah.
So he was walking kind of brisk. He probably didn't want no distraction.
That's right. All right.
Yeah, somebody eyes on you.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, your pastor,
Now I'm Brother Betts.
Brother Betts.
Yeah, I'm just Brother Betts.
Oh, Brother Betts. Okay.
Just Brother Betts.
Great. Nice to meet you.
All right. See you again.
I know, when trade windows are my favorite too. Those are
You don't start young people about it. It's really building stronger communities.
It also, yeah.
They can go back to their
No, Brazil.
family and their communities.
Yes.
And solve the values of taking care of their
Yes, I completely agree. I think that starting young means that you're starting also with like older people as well. Like you get to go home and tell people. So we'll have our interns come in and they'll say like, oh, my mom wants a tree planted on our yard now. And I'm like, oh,
cool.
like, that's so exciting. Yeah, we'll plant a tree like on your parents' yard if that's what they want. And that like might not have happened if they had done this internship and gone home to talk about,
Right.
Mom, today I learned about this, about trees and all this stuff. And so I think that's like also very rewarding.
It does a lot for themselves. They stay out of trouble. They have a purpose, right?
Yeah,
A
and
real
I force them to talk. I think that is also, I make them be confident. You know, if someone comes up to me and says like, what are you doing? I look at one of them and I'm like, what are we doing? You know? And the first time they're so like big-eyed, like, I don't know even like how to even describe what our job is. And I'm like, you'll get used to it, you know? And like
It's
they
a
just
frightening thing to talk
yeah,
about.
exactly. But you have to learn. You have to learn how to talk to people.
It seemed so easy for you when you were on the stage.
Yeah, natural. I mean, like you just have to learn, and I think that like some people think it's natural, but you just have to force yourself to keep doing it and keep doing it. And so I make them. I'm like, go up there. If someone asks you what we're doing, I'm not going to answer for you.
Right.
I'm in the background. Like, go ahead, talk to someone. Go knock on someone's door and ask them if they want a tree planted. They're so scared, but like by the end of the program, they're so confident in themselves and they're confident in what they want to do with their life. Even if it's not conservation, right? They're still confident that like I gave them those skills and they got those skills from other people on what it means to like where are they going to go with their life, what it means to be an adult, and how to fight, like also like how to fight for like wage rights. Like I really want to instill like, okay, like this is how you argue for a higher paying job. This is how you interview for a job. This is how you apply for a job. This is how you make yourself marketable for the rest of your life. And a lot of them, like my interns last year have told me that like that has really helped them and like they became way more confident.
There's a lot more skills.
Yeah, and they get like
just coming from conservation.
way more skills than just being able to identify a tree, right? Like you were getting so much more in this program. And so it started out small, but it's getting bigger. And I can feel like more and more people are learning about us. We actually had a news article or a whole like on PBS last year. We were like on the news. And so like, yeah. I'll see if John can have it sent around.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
so
amazing.
do you have like local, now that you have a well-formed organization, what about local partnerships? Operate
So we kind of like we have like a couple of like orgs that we'll also partner with that are also within Chicago. So like there's Open Lands, which does a similar kind of job training program, but it's a longer term program. Or like I said, we'll do like the Park District. There's also other nonprofits that we'll work with, like the it's like called Friends of the Forest Preserve, which we'll work with them as well. And then also, I mean, so Trinity United Church of Christ is huge. They have like,
is that the church and all of this?
yeah. So the church itself has like 10 nonprofits within it. So we are just one of like many nonprofits.
Oh, for real? Yeah, you know, most people always concede and they always say they're the ones that brought Mardi Gras.
Well, they did have the first Mardi Gras celebration in America. So.
Okay. We're always debating about that. Yep. Yes.
New Orleans just made it popular.
Made it more popular. Okay, then sure, we can take that away. Thank you.
Okay.
And you are really ready for the weather. So where are you from?
From Denver, Colorado.
Yes, ma'am. Denver, Colorado. You know about cold, huh?
Yes, but it does not get as cold as it does in Chicago.
I don't know. You are in the mountains, right?
It snows really nice.
Is it true you got to really be careful how you bake your cakes because it will fall you so high up there?
Yeah, you have to add a little extra.
Always.
High elevation. Yep.
I heard that. I wondered if that's so. Yeah.
Water takes longer to boil too.
Water takes longer to boil? Wow.
It's a few minutes. It's not crazy.
But it's noticeable.
It's noticeable.
And where are you from?
I'm from Arlington, Virginia.
Arlington, Virginia. A long ways from Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
Don't take much time for our water to burrow,
No.
right?
And not as cold.
And not as cold. How you enjoying your trip?
I am enjoying it. And thank you for for having us. It's a beautiful garden.
Oh.
It's so great to meet you all.
I like when Pearl used to say, yeah, we're gardeners. We're the divine garden, right? We need to learn how to take care of the garden. They'll teach us how to do better, right?
Yeah,
Hello,
exactly.
I tell you.
Yes, sir. Look at that angle. She wants to run up in there.
Oh, you know about the camera. I started zooming, but I know my supervisor here he just told me to show him.
Yes! It's so that
Oh, I'm
green.
not allowed to touch it. I was going to zoom in right on you.
Ray, I'd have been zooming too. I'd have been zooming. So where are you all going now?
We're going to go to Big Marsh.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, Big Marsh.
Yeah, to go eat lunch, bike ride.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a nice little ride. Okay, well, you all take care, and I'm so happy to have you. Where are you from?
I'm from Oregon. Eugene, Oregon. Yeah.
Okay, out west there.
Yep,
Oh,
out
yeah,
west.
I'm telling you,
Yep.
Oregon.
But I grew up in Colorado, so a little closer.
Oh, so you close.
Yeah.
Again, thank you to Pearl and to Asia.
Thank you, Pearl. Thank you, Asia.
In fact, I think, and to all the folks at the garden, Taz and Pearl's parents and everyone else. We'll be transitioning over to Big Marsh Park. There are restrooms there.
Albert
And inside space.
I think I have cards, I hope.
And we'll be taking popcorn too.
I can't wait to see this.
Anyway, thank you. See you over at Big Marsh.
Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
thank you all.
Thank you.
I don't even need
Water bottle.
So, donors are people who give maybe $10 a year, but they've been giving for like 30 years or 25 years. It's eight of the last 10 is the criteria. Some people give more, you know, like it might be 1,000, you know, whatever, but they're not big. And so, and yeah, it was one here.
Okay, TNC, you can start moseying towards the bus. Grab
That what?
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
And you let your heart go deep.
Sure. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. No, I very much enjoyed yours, by the way. The things we take for granted, right?
Yeah.
Come back.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
Can we take lunch, honey, if you good?
Oh, so you're just not going to get in the picture? That's
Oh,
how
I
we're doing
didn't know. I don't know. I didn't know what you wanted.
She said,
You want me to take the photo? You want Christina to do it?
Yeah, because clearly I'm bad at doing this, because like this is not good.
okay, right. And I'm gonna still take you.
Oh, yeah. I didn't take that part. Oh. Want to do both?
It's okay. It's okay.
We're taking this on the bus.
Oh, good.
Is it good? Okay.
Good stuff.
I wanted to put more in there because I want to grow some zucchini.
Oh, you wanna?
Oh,
Who do you want to interview, honey?
I take over. You'll probably have like 50 zucchinis from one plant.
Yeah.
And this week on Friday.
Yeah. And this tour.
Yeah.
Wow. How did you hear about it?
I work with the Nature Conservancy. And so we have a retreat here, an all-employee resource retreat. So this is one of our field trips. So I'm very glad to be here.
But I have to learn more about this.
That's my first time in Chicago, and it's really nice to come here.
Well, yeah, it's a little chilly right now, but wow, for cannabis.
Okay,
yeah.
I come from Canada
Yeah,
North.
so you don't call
It is
it,
cold.
right?
Thank you.
This is nothing.
I think they're probably around the same. It is very cold right now.
It gets it,
Yeah.
but I just really appreciate it. I had no idea we're going to be getting people from all over the
globe.
world.
Thank you
All
so much.
You want me to say all over the globe, so what is it called? Global?
The Nature Conservancy. So we're the Global Nature Conservancy.
Global
We have
Nature
presence in about
Conservancy.
70 countries across the globe. Africa, Asia, Europe. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we're
the
big.
wind is going. Yeah.
Oh, here
Well,
comes the
Mexico,
wind.
from Mexico, yeah, and Africa. Oh my God. Well, bless you. Enjoy.
I'm also Pearl.
Mon grand-mère is Le Perth.
You can tell the Jew.
Thank you, Pearl. Vessels, Portuguese, yo. One of my closest friends, Clarissa Sá. She's from Brazil, and her family, they have the Assad festival there. And you're every year. I have to send you information. You gotta check out Clarissa Sá, the Assad family. Okay. But I know a lot of brilliant musicians from Brazil, like very innovative. Like they make stuff out of like cans, and like just amazing instrumentalists out of Brazil, like very innovative. So I want to stay in touch.
Yeah, we have to. Thank you. And congratulations for your amazing job here.
Yo, we working on it. Christine, you go back to DC? You said thank you for being here. I love DC.
Oh, me too.
Are you from DC?
I'm from Connecticut, actually.
Oh yeah, my uncle is there. He just became the director of the theater program in New Haven, Connecticut. I forgot the name of the university. But
I live right outside. Grew up outside of New Haven.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I lived in New Hampshire for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had a tiny home up there.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
New Mexico was very. I did a tour traveling. Thank you. I hope I get y'all information. I hope y'all.
We will.
Beautiful.
We will.
Thank you all for being here. Enjoy. Elaine. Oh, good. Yes. And nature is the best way to be able to make that sort of like connection. Because nature for me is always it's resilient.
Right.
And it's abundant. And so always feeding into this defeatist mindset, it affects our relationships with what we have in nature and that our ability to receive when you're always in a state of mind.
Bingo.
I appreciate it. Definitely, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you. See you at Big Marsh. Yeah.
Okay, thank you all. I appreciate that, Asia. I can put this away. I was there. I'll put that in there. Oh, you are, huh? Yes, I'm gonna put it back.
Asian, that's for Asian. That's your
Yo, I know. I'm just helping pack up before we go. I'll grab it.
All right, take care. Oh, do we need to open the trunk or?
Oh, smash it.
Do you wanna take that?
Yep.
You're welcome to.
It's already mine.
Take the bag so the people.
I told them to take the bag on the bus.
We're on the bus. There's people on the bus.
Well, listen.
Wait, you're going with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want?
Yeah, go ahead. We're gonna go to the big march too.
Cool. All right.
You wanna go to big march?
Wow. Where's that?